Hey there, welcome to the Get Up and Go Challenge, Day 3, our October 2020 free 30-plus day challenge to guarantee you have better results after any change or challenge you face than when you're going into that change or challenge. We're going to learn a process throughout the next 30 days, and we're going to install that process into your subconscious, and I'm going to reinforce it in mind, and that's how we can guarantee that you'll get better results than if you didn't have a framework, if you didn't have a process, if you didn't have a way of dealing with change. So yesterday, did you do your homework? Did you do your homework? I did mine. Not bragging, just saying that when we're faced with an opportunity to take action, we need to act fast. We need to actually do it. We especially need to do the things that we say that we're going to do. We need to commit to something and then follow through on it. Today's challenge and yesterday's, of course, was about how do we deal with change when we initially experience a change or a challenge. What is our initial resistance to that change or challenge? 1 being almost no resistance whatsoever, we just go with the flow. 10 being we're freaking out because we don't know what we're going to do about it. And it doesn't usually last very long, our initial response, but what is our initial response? And so that was our assignment yesterday. Today we're going to talk about wants. What do you want? Because guess what? We don't achieve anything in our lives until we know what we want. If you were to ask 10 friends or 10 people right now, well, what do you want? And ask them, what do you really want? They'd probably start spewing out a list of all of the things that they don't want. I catch myself still doing that when my kids or somebody will ask me, well, what do you want, Mom? What do you want about this? What do you want about that? And if they're not specific, they say, hey, well, what do you want? I'll be like, I don't know. What do you want to eat for dinner? I don't know. What do you want for supper? What do you want to do right now? Do you want to go for a walk? All these things, as humans, especially it seems like during COVID and in 2020, we have really backed off on being honest with ourselves about our wants. What do we really want? And I like to think of a want or a desire, and I use my I love cup, is something that I want to move towards, something I want to have in my life, and maybe I don't even want to admit it to myself. But I like to take those don't wants. When I catch myself going through a list of don't wants, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want to gain weight, I don't want to lose my money, I don't want to be homeless, I don't want to, whatever it is I don't want, I quickly turn that around and say the opposite of that, because usually I'm thinking about the thing I don't want, and if I'm thinking about that, guess what? I'm moving toward it. So I want to flip that around and think about the things that I do want. So our challenge today is going to be to share 3 things that we really, really want. And I want you to think of more, because we have infinite possibilities in the things that we could want. Each of us are different. The things that I want today are different than the things I wanted 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, or 40 or 50, or even 60 years ago. The things that we want change. But there are certain things, certain items that never change. For example, I've always wanted to travel. My whole life I've wanted to travel more than I ever allowed myself to. And now as my vision is tanking, I want to travel around the world and see what I can see. I want to see as much as I can see while I can see and travel around the world. Now, COVID's kind of put a big kibosh on that. So is that going to happen right now? No. That is still one of the big desires I have that I want to do. I want to see as much of this beautiful planet as I possibly can. So that would be one of my 3 things. I'll share the other ones as part of our homework. I actually secretly have already done my homework, because today it's really easy. It's just thinking about, what do I want? And when I think of want, I'm like, will any or a new thing. I want to will into existence a new thing. And doesn't mean I'll get it right now. It doesn't mean it isn't going to be a lot of work. It doesn't mean anything. It's just I have to know first what my destination is, what my end game is, what I'm working for, what I want, in order to even begin to achieve that, begin to have it, right? So what do you want? Thinking that anything, there's no rules, there's no guidelines, anything's possible, and anything really is possible, right? Who decides what we want? Who decides what we are going to do and achieve in our life? You do. I do. Nobody can decide it for us. People will influence us. They will try to convince us. They will try to manipulate us. They will try to, badger and cajole and bully us into thinking what they think. But that's what they want. That's what they want for themselves, not what we want for ourselves. So today, really, really think about what you want, and then share 3 things. Share 3 things, knowing that anything is possible. Don't let anything restrict your desire or what you want. Do I currently have the ability to travel around the world? Do I have the unlimited funds to just travel all around the world and go wherever I want, when I want, and see whatever I want? Absolutely, positively not. But that is not going to stop me from putting that on my list of 3 things that I want. It doesn't have to be the 3 most important things you want. Just think of 3 things you want. Maybe you want to be able to go to the grocery store again and get whatever you want whenever you want and know that it's going to be in stock on the store. Maybe you want your kids to be able to go to school and maybe you want COVID to be over. Maybe you want there to be no more threat to our health and our safety and our security in this country. Whatever it is, just brainstorm and start making a list. I always have a running notebook or a running list of things that I'm working on, projects and things that I want. Because otherwise they clog up my brain, and so I write them down. There is so much power in writing stuff down. That's why it was our first tool. Writing stuff down takes it out of your head so it doesn't take up headspace. Not that we have limited headspace. We have unlimited capacity in our brains, and most of us don't use even 1/10 of our brain. So if we're not even using 10% of our brain, there's plenty of room in there to store everything we want. But there's power in writing down these things that we're writing down. So today, what do you want? What do you really, really want? If you don't know what you want and all kinds of don'ts are coming up, just look at the opposite of that. Then just share 3 of them on the graphic that I'll put in the page for the private group. I haven't done it yet, but I will do it. And then just share your 3 wants or any aha moments that you've had with us so far in the few things we've talked about. We really haven't talked about that much, but that's intentional. We want to start out with baby steps and gain momentum. I want you to do things every day so that you get some little wins. Because once we get little wins, we're more likely to continue on in a project or with anything else. But that begins with the end in mind, knowing what we want so that we can work backwards to take the steps toward achieving that. That's it. Go out, have an absolutely amazing day. Any questions, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, tell me what you want, and I'll see you tomorrow.